You are watching Access LaPorte County Channel 97. Coming up next is the May 19th meeting for the Michigan City Common Council. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Good evening and welcome to the Michigan City Council Common Council meeting. Today is Tuesday, May 19th, 2026. I would ask if you would all please silence all of your electronic devices and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silent prayer. Before we move on onto our agenda, we did just have that moment of silent prayer with the respect of any and everyone's beliefs, spiritual beliefs, and religion. I would just like to state over the past weeks, our community has experienced a series of tragic acts of gun violence, including the recent post-prom shootings that resulted in injuries and the loss, and those that occurred thereafter. This not only impacted those that was involved, but families, students, and our entire city. On behalf of the City Council, I would like to express our concerns, our prayers, and our unwavering support for every person that has been impacted by this. It's a lot. It's a lot to process. It's a lot. I would just like to say again, it may be a redundance of hearing this for your loved ones, for our loved ones, for those just giving the support. Any way that you can support in regards to this and to these tragedies and to these families. As you all know, that the city there are resources throughout our community, the city, law enforcement, council members. If you want to talk, if you need additional resources and you don't know, reach out to one of your council members. If we don't know, we will find the answer or direct you to where those resources are available to each and every one of you. And again, I commend and thank the Michigan City Police Department and their support and the roles that they've played, their first responders, and their assistant in the development or the process of their investigation and supporting the Porter County law enforcement as well. And to the families, again, the City Council is available. If there's anything that we can do, please reach out to us during this time in need. And again, we will continue to keep you all lifted up in prayer. Going back to our city agenda, Madam Clerk, on roll call, please.
Mr. Beatrice?
Present.
Mr. Coulter?
Present.
Mr. Dabney?
Present.
Dr. Cora?
Present.
Miss Lee? Present. Miss Moldenauer?
Present.
Mr. Nelson?
He is on.
Present.
Mr. Przebalinski?
Present.
And Miss Tillman?
Present.
We have 9 present and no one absent.
We do have a quorum. The meeting will move forward. Next, we have approval of minutes, our regular council hybrid Zoom, May 5th, 2026. Are there any corrections or amendments needed for the minutes? Have you all had the opportunity to review?
Motion to approve the minutes. Support.
Madam Clerk, on the vote, please.
Miss Moldenauer?
Aye.
Mr. Nelson?
Aye.
Mr. Przebalinski?
Aye.
Miss Tillman?
Aye.
Mr. Beatrice?
Aye.
Mr. Coulter?
Aye.
Mr. Dabney?
Aye.
Dr. Cora?
Aye.
And Miss Lee? Aye. We have 9 in favor and no one opposed.
Thank you. Next, we have reports of standing committees. And we have our finance committee meeting. Councilman Dabney?
Yes, tonight's finance committee meeting was canceled due to the fact there were no claims to be reviewed by the finance committee, so that meeting was canceled tonight. But I still want to report out on the 2026 Riverboat Rainy Day Fund statement of cash flows, cash position. In the Riverboat Fund, there's $4,666,662.09. In the Rainy Day Fund, $1,321,810.42, for a total between the two of $5,988,472.51.
Thank you, Councilman
Thank you.
Dabney. Next, we have reports from boards and commissions. Are there any reports from boards and commissions?
Daryl Borton, Human Rights Chair. On, let me get the great date. Sunday, June 14th, from 1 to 3 outside here at City Hall, I am going to be hosting Hands Against Gun Violence. I'm calling on all elected city officials, local pastors, local law enforcement, citizens, students, everybody to come out here, join hands together against gun violence. As many of you know, one of the students that we gave the scholarship to, she was one of the victims in the shooting in the Porter County. She's doing fine. But I believe one voice can make a difference, and I'm hosting this event. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Moldenauer?
Thank you, Madam President. I want to report back to the workshop that was held by the Michigan City Sustainability Commission in cooperation with the City of Michigan City, the Mayor's Office, the Park Recreation Department, Earth Charter Indiana, National Wildlife Federation, Indiana Wildlife Federation, and Save the Dunes. We had a huge success with a remarkable 40 participants that came. And they took home with them 4 native plants, flowers actually, which they're able to replant in their homes. We had an age span we had a couple families that brought their children, all the way up to elders in our community and everybody in between. So based on this, I just want to thank all of the co-sponsors of this event who helped put this together, support it, and helped get the word out. Also, I want to announce the next Northwest Indiana Green Drinks, which is coming up, and that's going to be on June 4th at 6:30 p.m. That's always the first Thursday of the month. CJ Greco of the Lincoln Park Zoo will be presenting on that organization and her group, which is called Out in Nature. And you can join that via Save the Dunes Facebook Live, or you can get the Zoom link from that's EM, which is short for Emily, at savedunes.org. I hope you're able to join us for that. It will be a very interesting presentation, I'm sure.
Thank you, Councilwoman Moldenauer. Councilman Przybylinski?
I would like to announce some good news that Attorney Harris gave me this evening, that with the lawsuit dealing with Long Beach over the sanitary sewers and that issue, that Long Beach has paid us their first installment of $250,000. So that was turned over to the city controller this evening.
Are there any other boards and commissions at this time? Any other boards and commissions? Yes.
Good evening, Dakota Euler, member of the Michigan City Licensing Board. I just want to take a moment. Over the last month, we had our board president, Dwayne Seifer, and the board secretary, Peggy Lusko, both resigned from their positions on the board. I want to thank them for their leadership roles and their dedicated years of service to the city and to the residents for proper licensing within the municipality. Again, thank you to them for their service to the community. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other boards and commissions? Any online? There are none. Next on our agenda, reports of special or select committees. Any comments regarding special or select committees? Any comments regarding special or select committees? There are none. Reports from the mayor or other city officers and departments.
Good evening, Council. Steve Walker, Chief of Police.
Good evening.
Again, Mayor Angie wanted to send her apologies. She had a prior engagement this evening, so she could not be here. So we've prepared a few statements regarding, obviously, the ongoing current incidents. So just wanted to bring you up to date on some of those things. Regarding the recent shooting and investigations, there was an arrest made today related to one of those incidents. Would say additional information will be forthcoming on that incident. Obviously, while this is an important step forward, just know that our work doesn't stop there. All right, officers and investigators continue to follow up, continue to work with Porter County to gather the information needed. Obviously, we'll be working diligently, to bring accountability and safety to our community. And we understand these concerns, the frustration and fear of these incidents create. Public safety remains our highest priority. Our officers will continue to be proactive throughout the city. Yesterday, the mayor hosted a productive meeting with several community organizations, partners, and stakeholders. The focus of this meeting was collaboration, communication, ensuring we're working together to support our youth, families, and neighborhoods during these difficult times. And these partnerships are critical as we continue addressing the violence, strengthening our community trust, and identifying meaningful ways to support those impacted. We also want to sincerely thank the community for coming together and showing up for one another. The event at Gardenia Park over the weekend was a great example of coming together in a positive way to support our youth. And continuing to support our youth, families, and neighborhoods. Right, those types of community involvement matters. Right, it sends a strong message to the city that cares about our children and the future. We continue to work with our partners, schools, faith leaders, organizations, and residents, obviously, to reduce violence. We want to continue to support the families and create safe spaces for our youth. We ask our community to stay engaged, continue communication with law enforcement, and work together as we move forward through these tough times.
Thank you, Chief Walker. Are there any others from city officers and departments? Are there anyone else? Other city officers and departments? If there are none, Madam Clerk, do we have any petitions for this evening?
There are no petitions this evening.
Madam Clerk, on communications, please.
Correspondence was received in the clerk's office on May 11th from Carly Dunn regarding issues, concerns, and matters with community that she believes are not being adequately addressed. Correspondence was received May 11th from Scott Mellon regarding the Michigan City Police Department flock system. Notice of decision approval was received on May 11th from the Indiana Department of Environmental Management, WM Technologies LLC, permit number 091-49655-00020, located at 500 Blaine Street. Correspondence was also received on May 5th from Carly Dunn regarding council meetings being held on Election Day. That's it.
Okay. Madam Clerk, if you would, our first resolution this evening by title only.
A resolution by title only, waiving 50% of the building permit fee and inspection fee for the Michigan City Area Schools for the construction of the Michigan City Area Schools Community Event Center. And this is introduced by Mr. Dabney and Mr. Beatrice.
And would the sponsors like to make any comments? Councilman Beatrice?
This resolution is a direct result of the change that we made in the ordinance that would allow this advantage. And I do want to clarify something, because I think some members of the public were confused by this. I thought that we were recommending 50% deficit on the fees to all of this project. That's not true. What we're doing is approving 50% off the permit fee for the school system. Contractors who are going to do the work there are going to have to apply for permits. There's no 50% reduction on those permits, only the school system's building permit. And I would recommend approval.
Councilman Dabney?
Now, I was going to actually bring that to light as well. So thank you, Councilman Beatrice, for talking about that. So in addition to that, I have nothing at this time.
I would like to open this up for public comment on this resolution. If you please state your full name and your address in 3 minutes.
Yeah, Tommy Kolovic, 1316 Ohio Street. I hope this is just to up to 50%. You know, you have the option to give them nothing. I still say this drug-free partnership with LaPorte County for the men's rehab house, they ought to get nothing. They're already getting $750 from the LaPorte County seeded and opioid funds. They're getting $750,000 from the Healthcare Foundation LaPorte. They got a $220,000 donation in the property they're going on there at Cool Spring and Woodland. They're also getting about $250,000 in like fees and consultant and for everything from the Franciscan Alliance. So I think they've gotten enough. They shouldn't come with their hand out. We're all pretty much, we got our own projects and everything we need the money for. So, and I don't know how many installments we're going to be getting from Long Beach, but that's another topic.
Thank you, Mr. Kolovic. Are there any other public comments on this ordinance? Any public comments on this ordinance? Do we have anyone online for public comments? If there are none, public comments are now closed on this resolution. Comments from the council? Councilman Dabney?
Yes, real quick, Mr. Kolovic came up and addressed two other entities that are going to be doing some building, and he was, against us waiving fees. I just make sure that nobody in the public is running these together. This is talking about what's happening at the high school and their project out there. Has nothing to do with the house that's being built over there on Woodland. Woodland, but Cool Spring and Woodland or any other thing. This is all to do about the school. So I just want to make sure that nobody runs these together and confuses them. This is one project, school system.
Thank you, Councilman Dabney. Councilwoman Lee?
Thank you, Madam President. Due to Michigan City Area Schools being my current employer, I will be abstaining from this vote.
Thank you. Madam, may I entertain Councilman Prisbalinski?
Yeah, I just have a question for Mr. Williamson.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Dave Williamson. I'm the Director of Facilities for Michigan City Schools.
Yeah, Dave. Have they already had a groundbreaking out there for this particular facility?
Yes, they have.
Have they?
Yeah.
Okay. Was the city council invited?
The mayor was here.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
May I entertain a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Madam Clerk, on the vote, please.
Mr. Nelson?
No.
Mr. Prisbalinski?
Aye.
Ms. Tillman?
Aye.
Mr. Beatrice?
Aye.
Mr. Coulter?
Aye.
Mr. Dabney?
Aye.
Dr. Cora?
Aye.
Ms. Lee?
Abstain.
And Ms. Moldenauer?
Aye.
We have 1 abstained, 1 opposed, and 7 in favor.
And the resolution has passed, waiving the 50% of the building permit fees and inspection fees for Michigan City Area Schools for the constructions of the Michigan City Area Schools Community Event Center. Madam Clerk, on our next resolution by title only, please.
A resolution by title only, a resolution increasing and decreasing certain appropriations within the budget of the General Fund 1101 for the year 2026 in Michigan City, Indiana. This is also introduced by Ms. Tillman.
Thank you. And what this resolution is for is from the general fund 1101, we're decreasing that fund from $15,000 to increase the AC 1101.401.423.031, which is the small tools and minor equipment, to $15,000. So we're not pulling anything from the general fund. It's already been appropriated or budgeted for this. We're just moving it into a different line item. If I may, at this time, I'll open this resolution up for public comments. On this resolution, are there any public comments on this resolution? Are there any public comments on this resolution? Do we have anyone online for public comments on this resolution? If there are none, comments for the public is now closed. Comments from the council? Councilman Prisbalinski?
Yeah, Madam President, what's the $1,500 or $15,000? What small tools and minor equipment, what department is that being used for? It doesn't say that in the resolution.
And it does not, do we have the controller present?
No, they're not.
No, we don't. Okay.
I'm watching city attorney.
So in regards, just gonna say something, Councilman Devon. Oh, so in regards to this resolution, as me sponsoring this to bring this forth was for them to make the necessary transfer of those funds. I would ask, due to that the controller is not in attendance, that I would ask that she would follow up with Councilman Prisbalinski's request. I introduced this ordinance in order for it to be presented on the table to come forth. And any additional information will come from the controller's office. So if you're wishing not to vote, or if you would like for this to be tabled until you get that information, I have no problem in doing so.
Yeah, I make a motion to table this resolution.
Support.
Second.
Madam Clerk, on the vote, please. And also, before we do the votes, Councilman Nelson, in order to vote, you'll need to have your camera on, sir.
Okay.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, on the vote, please.
Mr. Prisbalinski,
To table, aye.
Ms. Chalman,
Aye.
Mr. Beatrice,
Aye.
Mr. Coulter,
Aye.
Mr. Dabney.
And just a quick point of order. Did we say when we're tabling it too? Did you stay to the next meeting?
Yeah, next meeting's fine.
Okay. 'Cause I just wanted a motion to reflect that we're tabling to the next meeting.
Thank you, Councilman
So,
Doe.
aye.
Dr. Cora,
Aye.
Ms. Lee,
Aye.
Ms. Moldenauer,
Aye.
and it was 8 in favor and no one opposed.
So this resolution has been tabled until the next city council meeting. Madam Clerk, our first ordinance by title only, if you would, please.
An ordinance on first reading by title only, amending section 2-322 in the Michigan City Municipal Code regarding methods of payment accepted by the city. And this is introduced by Ms. Chalman, Mr. Prisbalinski, and Mr. Beatrice.
And does any other sponsor like to make any comments on this resolution at this time?
Yeah, thank you, Madam President.
Prisbalinski?
Yeah, and this to me, it looks like the meaning of the semantics. And what I'd like to do is read a sentence here, and it has the word may in it versus the word will or shall. If there is a charge to the city for the use of a financial instrument, the city may collect a sum equal to the amount of the charge from the person. I mean, if we want to be specific, do we take the word, because to me, may means, well, we may do it or we may not do it. We will do it, we shall do it, to be specific that we're going to do that. So I guess in order to do that, we'd have to table it and then make a substitution at the next meeting. Because there's more than one place that comes up at.
Yes, I think that was done intentionally too. I don't think that's an accident. I think the idea was to provide the city with the flexibility of passing along that fee if they so choose. So that's entirely up to you. If you want to make a motion to table because you want more info on that, that's fine. But I don't think that's unintentional. I think that may language was intended to be there.
Okay, then I'll ask this question. So then who makes the determination whether we charge the fee or we don't charge the fee? I thought what we were doing here, we were going to start charging the fee to the people instead of the city paying for the fee. I thought that was the intention of this ordinance, correct?
Mm-hmm.
I think the way the ordinance would read, it would leave it to the discretion of the particular department head to determine if they want to start passing along that fee or not. Because the way the ordinance is drafted, there's flexibility. If you want to adopt an ordinance that takes away that discretion and there is no flexibility, then you would want the language to read shall or must.
That's what I was looking for, and that was the understanding I had that we were doing with this ordinance. So with that being said, table it until next meeting and make the appropriate changes to it. The amendment, change the wording to it.
If that's motion.
Yeah.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. And would anyone like to comment or debate on this at this time? I just have one recommendation or question. In order for this to be tabled in the midst of all of this, will we be reaching out to also the department heads to get their consensus as well if they're wanting a may or shall, or are we going to just move forward and determine if we're going to have that removed?
Well, I guess if this is for the department heads to make a decision one way or the other what they want to do with this ordinance, maybe they should come to the council meeting and explain to the council why they want to have this flexibility.
No, I agree. That's why I'm asking the question. Okay.
Yeah. So are you asking me whether we want the word may or the word?
If we're going to be having the department heads have an input in making that determination.
Sure, they can come to the next council meeting. They can all come to the council meeting. Who's ever going to charge people for a service and tell us why they need that flexibility? Yes.
Councilman Beatrice?
I agree with Councilman Prispolinski. My understanding of this was that if there's a credit card involved, we were going to pass on the charge of that to whoever owed the money. But I know that within this ordinance, there are also exceptions. There are different agencies that we do business with who we were not going to pass that on to. They were government entities and some others. So if we're going to make a change here and change the may to shall, we have to be careful that we differentiate who is not impacted by that and make it very clear.
Right.
I agree. I think the exceptions need to be identified. If that's the route the council's going to make it shall, then those exceptions need to be clearly delineated in the amended version.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
And Madam Clerk, we have a motion and a second. May we have a vote, please?
Mr. Tillman?
Aye.
Mr. Beatrice?
Aye.
Mr. Coulter?
Aye.
Mr. Dabney?
Aye.
Dr. Cora?
Aye.
Ms. Lee?
Aye.
Ms. Moldenauer?
Aye.
Gail?
Councilman Nelson, can you turn your camera on, please, before the vote?
Aye.
And Mr. Prispolinski?
Aye.
9 in favor and no one opposed. It's tabled till the next meeting.
Yes, thank you. Madam Clerk, on our next ordinance on second reading by title only.
An ordinance on second reading by title only, creating section 2-420 in chapter 2, article 1 of the Michigan City Municipal Code to establish a fund for the specific expenses related to riverfront dining within the city of Michigan City, Indiana. And this is introduced by Ms. Tillman.
Okay, so in regards to, one moment. So in regards to this, what this is that the ordinance is okay, but there was one minor change in regards to that, to where it was changed to three-way, the alcohol permit. That was omitted. It said and or. So that is the only change in regards to this. However, this also is not changing the boundaries. The boundaries will still remain as is, but we do have Mr. York, if you would come up if you would like to elaborate further on that change, please.
Good afternoon, Council. Skylar York, Director of Redevelopment. This fund establishes, so we have the Municipal Riverfront District, which is at the end of last year, you guys approved a new expanded boundary for that district. This allows us to issue riverfront liquor licenses, three-way licenses as an incentive for our new restaurant to come into the district. This establishes a fund for those restaurants. They will now, not until next year, July 1st of next year, be very clear, we will not collect this year. This is just establishing the fund. It will basically create a fund that now those liquor licenses every year, July 1st, on or before, they'll pay $2,500 into that fund. That fund would then be used for a downtown dining fund, which would be like for advertising, events, could even function as I know you have the Dora that Mr. Coulter has been talking about. It could help out with those costs as well. I think it's established kind of the cost in your packet there. It only is applicable to downtown riverfront liquor licenses. It is not in the ordinance. It was mistakenly said all three-way liquor licenses within the boundary of Michigan City. It doesn't include anyone that has purchased a quoted liquor license. That's a different class of liquor license. The downtown riverfront license is a very specific license, and it's a completely different class of liquor licenses. So it's only applicable to those. Sorry, that was a mouthful to get that out, but I want to be very specific about what we're doing tonight.
And I will open this up for public comments. Are there any public comments on this ordinance? Are there any public comments on this ordinance? Are there any public comments on this ordinance? Do we have anyone online? We do not. Public comments are now closed. Comments from the council? Are there any comments from the council? Councilman Beardry.
Don't we need to approve this amendment?
Yes.
Well,
May I entertain a motion to?
I'm recommending we approve the amendment.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to amend this ordinance on second reading. Madam Clerk, on the vote, please.
Mr. Beatrice?
Aye.
Mr. Coulter?
Aye.
Mr. Dabney?
Aye.
Dr. Cora?
Aye.
Ms. Lee?
Aye.
Ms. Moldenauer?
Aye.
Mr. Nelson?
Aye.
Mr. Prespolinski?
Aye.
And Ms. Tillman?
Aye.
We have 9 in favor and no one opposed.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, if you would, on second reading by title only, this ordinance.
An ordinance on second reading by title only, amending section 2-59 in the Michigan City Municipal Code regarding the order of business for meetings of the Common Council. And this is introduced by Ms. Tillman.
And the sponsor has no comments. I will open this up for public comments. Are there any public comments on this ordinance?
John Carrington, 140 Esther Street.
First, I'd like to acknowledge that the loss and injury our community is still processing. A young person lost their life. Others were critically injured and many families are hurting.
Mr. Carrington, is this,
Yes, my condolences to everyone affected. It's just the opening paragraph.
okay, yes, sir. Thank you.
We've also heard reminders about the importance of trust, communication, and transparency between government and the public. I agree with those principles, and they matter not only in times of crisis, but in the everyday way this council conducts its business. That's why I'm asking you to vote no on the proposed amendment to Section 2-59 of the Michigan City Municipal Code regarding the order of business.
Sir, that is not the ordinance that we're on. We're still on the riverfront.
I'm sorry. Come back.
We don't have to, that's what you just read. My apologies.
What did you just read?
Regarding the meeting.
Did she just read?
You're
I'm good. Can I keep going?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. This ordinance will remove the routine reference to communications received by the clerk from the order of business while still allowing them to be distributed to council members and accessed under the Indiana Access to Public Records Act. I understand the rationale that these communications are circulated or public records and their mention is often brief or not tied to action. But it is important to be clear what changes. Including communications in the order of business creates a visible, real-time acknowledgement that written correspondence has been received. It requires no debate. It simply reflects citizen input entering the council's awareness.
Mr. Carrington, if I may address the council attorney, since we just did the amendment on the ordinance prior to the one that he's speaking on right now, we did the amendment. Do we not have to readdress what the amendments changed and to open it up if anyone chose to do third reading?
No, there wasn't any other motion made on the floor, so we went on with the rest of the council.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure
You're
that
okay.
we're following the.
Yes.
With Councilman Beatrice?
Well, I didn't hear the council president move it to third reading.
She didn't.
Doesn't it have to be moved to third reading?
It doesn't have to be, no.
Okay.
It will automatically go to third reading.
Correct.
Never knew that.
Thank you. I apologize, Mr. Carrington.
Can you start your timer over?
You're okay. Go ahead.
All right. I timed this. Let's see. It's important to be clear what changes, including communications in the order of business, creates a visible, real-time acknowledgement that written correspondence has been received. It requires no debate. It simply reflects citizen input entering the council's awareness. This ordinance removes that acknowledgement. And while these records remain available under public records law, availability is not visibility. Public records law provides access when someone knows to ask. The current practice provides a public signal that communication has occurred. These are different forms of transparency serving different purposes. This change moves us from correspondence being visibly received in open meeting to it being effectively invisible unless someone already knows it exists and requests it. I also want to address the concern that communications, the word, is vague or unnecessary. That is a policy judgment, not a legal requirement. Neither Indiana law nor Robert's rules require its removal. Written communications from residents are often not tied to a vote, but they are still part of what this council receives from the public. Acknowledging receipt takes only moments, but it creates a consistent public record that citizen input has entered the system. At a time when public confidence is already fragile, reducing the visible acknowledgement of public input, even if records remain accessible, risks weakening transparency in practice. For those reasons, I respectfully ask the council to vote no on this amendment. Transparency is not only what can be requested later, it's what the public can see happening in real time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Carrington.
Paul Przybylski. Paul Przybylski, 1716 Washington Street. So I've served on the council for many years, and the section that you're trying to eliminate or you want to eliminate is one of our rights also under the Constitution. It's in the First Amendment to petition our government on regress and for grievances. And that is a form of public transparency. So it's made public. And that's what happened at that meeting transpiring 2 meetings ago on the petition. I ask that you vote no on this. This has been part of the record, and in the form of decency and respect to the general public, that we have a forum to address all the council members, elected officials of our community about problems. This is shameful. It should have never been brought in front of the council. And I will say is that the council rules have been in place for many, many, many years. And I think they were put there for a specific reason. And I believe that that reason was it's in our Constitution. Thank you.
Yeah, Tommy Kalava, 1316 Ohio Street. Just keep the communication portions of the agenda for all the council meetings. They don't need to eliminate that. The only thing this might accomplish, it might take a little bit of workload off the women of the clerk's office. So I just think you ought to just go ahead and keep that portion. Sometimes I might want to email the clerk and read the email the clerk, have them send me what my fellow residents might have written to the office. So keep it.
Ernie Hallahan, 302 Gladys Street. I spoke against this on first reading, and I'm speaking against it on second reading. I don't think you should eliminate it. It's there for our informative information. Thank you.
Are there any other public comments on this ordinance?
Dominic Yankee, 904 Willow Spring Drive. I don't agree with Council President Tillman's proposed ordinance. While some may argue that City Council does not have authority over every issue, City Council does have the authority to author a non-binding resolution of disapproval, such as the one that was made to disapprove of the NIPSCO rate hikes. Correspondence received only takes a few brief minutes of each City Council meeting. It is an avenue for those who cannot attend council meetings in person to make their voices heard to the council members and to the community. Recently, a lot of the correspondence that has been received has been critical correspondence that highlights issues and areas for improvement. When I see this ordinance, I see disdain for public discourse and input. This was evidenced 2 council meetings ago when an attendee seemingly had their First Amendment rights violated. The largest portion of city council meetings is often due to reports from boards, commissions, and the mayor. In particular, special hour-long or longer presentations that were not explicitly enumerated on the agenda, such as those by the mayor or by data center representatives. If city administration would like to respond to complaints, they can discuss them in council comments, have the mayor's office send out updates through the city website and social media, or comment during public comment like the rest of us. I believe this ordinance was not written with the public in mind, but rather to preserve the valuable time of our city council members. Please vote no on this ordinance.
Good evening. My name is Kyle Ratliff, 314 North Calumet Ave. I'm here to strongly oppose the ordinance amending Section 2-59, which removes communications from the order of business for common council meetings. This is not a minor housekeeping change. It is an unnecessary restriction on public input that reduces transparency and accountability in our local government. First, the timing is pretty concerning. This ordinance was introduced in advance at a council meeting held on primary election day, a day when residents were focused on voting and exercising their democratic rights. Holding a meeting to limit how citizens can communicate with their elected officials on election day sends a clear and disturbing message that you would rather avoid inconvenient public scrutiny than welcome it. That is unacceptable. Second, this change weakens the public record. Written communications are already public records under Indiana law. The current process ensures that they are formally presented and distributed to every council member in advance and noted in the official minutes. Striking communications means important letters, data, and concerns from residents, especially on hot button issues like development, can be quietly filed away without any public acknowledgement. That makes it far too easy for this body to ignore constituents. Third, the justifications in the whereas clauses are weak. You complain that some communications are off topic or that authors aren't present to answer questions. If that's the issue, then adopt better rules. Relevance guidelines, clerk screening, or simple announcements do not eliminate an entire category of public input. Vague is not an excuse to delete a tool. It is an excuse to improve it. You already control the agenda. You're swinging a sledgehammer at a problem that needs only a screwdriver. Finally, this chills public participation. Not every resident can attend meetings in person, especially on short notice or when schedules conflict with work, family, or health. Written communications give people a meaningful way to submit detailed concerns and evidence. Removing this channel tells the public, we only want to hear from you in our narrowly defined, limited formats. That is the opposite of an open, responsive government. Council, you work for the people of Michigan City. We pay your salaries. We expect you to strengthen, not restrict, avenues for citizens' input. This ordinance undermines democracy and sets a dangerous precedent. I urge you in the strongest terms to vote no on this ordinance. Instead, focus on real improvements, require public announcements of all received communications, clearly define terms without deletion, and expand opportunities for public engagement. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other public comments on this? Okay, if you would, please. Thank you.
Hi, good evening, Council. Eileen Mark, 219 Ann Street in Michigan City. I spoke to this the last council meeting 2 weeks ago as well, and I do agree with everyone who has spoken in public comment addressing this ordinance tonight that this is a First Amendment violation of our rights. We have every right to know what correspondence was sent in by the constituency. We know just by title it's very limited to begin with. So to take it off, I would love to know the reason why this needs to be taken off in President Tillman's opinion. I would ask every council person to please vote no to this freedom of speech limiting ordinance. Thank you.
Thank you. That is our last public comment on this ordinance. Public comments are now closed. Comments from the council? Dr. Cora?
Yeah, thank you, Madam President. At the last meeting, I understand the concerns expressed as to why this ordinance was proposed to begin with. I believe anything that gives the impression that we are not transparent is counterproductive. I also believe that if there are some communication that promotes violence or is defamatory to an individual or individuals, there are ways we can handle it. These are rare that happens, but we can handle it without removing the whole section of communications. That's my personal view of it. Thank you.
Are there any other comments from the council? Councilman Prisbalinski?
Thank you, Madam President. I want to thank the public for all their comments. I haven't heard one person from the public say that this is a good idea so far, last meeting, this meeting. And personally, as I stated last meeting, I didn't think it's a good idea, and I don't think it's a good idea. Just to take out some line items that maybe aren't pertinent to the ordinances or the resolutions that we may be working on at that particular time, to me, doesn't make the case to say, well, you know, we're just not going to put them on the agenda. It's for transparency. It's for the public to know what people are sending in to the clerk's office. And, you know, if there's something that shows up that may be a little untasteful, well, then that's what shows up in a clerk's office. And that's what we're looking at. And as I said in the last meeting, we have been doing this, putting the petitions and the communications on, or the communications on the council agendas. It's been in the city code since 1969. That's 57 years. And why all of a sudden we have to make a change? And I know I heard last meeting that, well, just because it's been on there doesn't mean you can't change it. I understand that. But to me, this is a little different. This is about transparency. This is about communications that's coming in for the public. The council knows, but it's for the public to know. And that's who we serve, are these people sitting right here, and the people in TV land, our constituents. And to me, I don't think it's necessary tonight. The clerk read the communications, and I think it took 30 seconds to read off what she had to read this evening. So I don't think that that is prolonging the council meeting. You know, chances are we'll probably be here till 8:30 anyway, like we normally are. So another 30 seconds isn't going to hurt anything. So I voiced my opinion at the last meeting. I'm not for this. I'm not for it now. And I have to have a very good explanation to sell me on why we need to change the ordinance. Thank you.
If there are no others, I will, since I'm the one that introduced this, and I thought that I made it clear with an explanation as to why this ordinance came forth, but to give a more in-depth reason as to why this ordinance, it didn't just spurt, it didn't just pop up. So the communications that we have received, it's been what, 6.5, 7 years, where council has received, seen, read threats on council members, falsified information, defamation of character, slander, not just for us. It has also been against some of you amongst yourselves with some of your own residents and constituents within the community addressing their personal grievances. And if it is a legal matter that falls under the law, that it may not be something that the council can handle, then you should file that with the appropriate entity or legal department to move whatever matters that you have at hand. This isn't, again, something that was on the spur of a moment. This is something that I have observed, and I explained all of this. I am as transparent as you can get. I've explained this repeatedly. I have asked repeatedly within the council chambers, please be respectful. Please watch the tones. Please air those grievances and keep those. That's not for council. Some of those words, they're not for council. There's been cursing, there's been swearing, and just blatant disrespect. That is not what a meeting is for, nor how should a meeting be conducted. And to be clear, never once did I say it was about time. But evidently somebody is watching time, because they're saying we're going to be done about 8:30. We get done what we get done, first and foremost. 2, the other thing is, it's not silencing anybody. It is still being transparent. All I'm asking is, if you choose to do your communications, send them as you have been to the clerk's office and they get file stamped. Council members still get those. If it's something that is not pertaining to the order of business, as some of the public spoke, Yes, petitions get listed under petitions. Communication is not a petition. There is a difference. I have not violated anyone's amendments. I have not silenced anyone off of this ordinance. It is just to have a meeting to flow productively in order to conduct business. Your communication still reaches to the council. When you go into the clerk's office and you present it to one of the clerks, they're to file stamp that. Once it is file stamped, anything that comes into that clerk's office is to be emailed, as we are asked how would we like to receive our mail, email, hard copy, and we even have a mailbox on the first floor. So we do receive that information. We do get your correspondence, your communication. We're not silencing you. If it is not on the agenda, you still have your public comment. I don't understand. So for those that needed the explanation, that is why. I've had corporate counsel to elaborate, to review. I've had city council to review. I didn't just pull this out of anywhere just to be doing something. This is something that I had already have been seeing happening. I've asked respectfully to where it now has led up to this. And communications are becoming more discertained. Maybe that is not the correct word to use. Not just at the council, but these are comments also that some of the public speak among themselves about other people. So with that being said, this will be carried over for third reading. Madam Clerk, if you would, our next ordinance on third reading by title only.
An ordinance on third reading by title only, an ordinance vacating a portion of public alley in the city of Michigan City, running parallel to East Michigan Boulevard and located immediately south of the adjacent to 2525 and 2515 East Michigan Boulevard. And this is introduced by Mr. Przwolinski.
And does the sponsor would like to make any comments? Councilman Przwolinski.
Madam President, Attorney Barry McDonald's here this evening to explain the amendment in legal terms so that everyone understands.
Thank you.
Good evening, Madam President, members of the council.
Good evening.
Barry McDonald, Michigan City, 601 Franklin Street. Thank you, Mr. Przwolinski, for sponsoring this. And again, I am here on behalf of my client, Bailey's Properties, LLC, regarding their petition to vacate a portion of an undeveloped public alley that runs parallel to Michigan Boulevard, just behind their properties at 2515 and 2525 East Michigan Boulevard. And as Mr. Przwolinski alluded to, immediately before the second hearing or second reading, I was contacted by the city engineer, Mr. Warner. He had asked that I make an amendment specifically not so much to the text in the ordinance, but the exhibit B to the ordinance. He wanted to make sure that we specifically showed the allocation between the two affected property owners, between my clients, Bailey's Properties, and the adjoining property owner, the Batts family, specifically to show if you were to approve this ordinance, how the allocation would happen. In other words, who got what. And so we did submit a revised Exhibit B to the clerk's office. I think you've all received that. It shows specific legal descriptions, not only for the entire parcel, but the parcel that would go to Batts and the parcel that would go to my clients, and then shows visually how that allocation would work. So that was the amendment, not the substance, but the exhibits. And Mr. Werner has indicated he's happy with that. We had our surveyor essentially kind of redraw what he gracefully drew out for us. And so here we are again asking for your approval on third reading. Thank you for your time and attention. And again, thank Mr. Przwolinski, thank the clerk's office, Mr. Harris, and also your corporation counsel for all their guidance along the way. Thank you.
Thank you, Attorney McDonald. And just for the public, this was advertised in the Herald Dispatch on April 22nd, 2026. There was a formal public hearing which was held May 5th, 2026. I would like to open this up now for public comments on this ordinance. Are there any public comments on this ordinance? Are there any public comments on this ordinance? If there are none and none online, public comments are now closed. Any comments from the council? Councilman Przybylinski.
Yes, I want to thank Attorney McDonald for the explanation. And I did have the opportunity to talk to the city engineer yesterday, Mr. Warner, about this piece of property. And he explained to me clearly exactly what took place. And I approve of the moves that Mr. McDonald and Schuyler and Mr. Warner took in order to straighten this out and make it a lot cleaner for future sales, development, what have you. With that being said, I make a motion to approve.
I second.
Councilwoman Moldenauer on the second. Councilwoman Moldenauer. Madam Clerk, on the vote, please.
Mr. Coulter,
Aye.
Mr. Dabney,
Aye.
Dr. Cora,
Aye.
Ms. Lee. Aye. Ms. Moldenauer,
Aye.
Mr. Nelson,
Aye.
Mr. Przybylinski,
Aye.
Ms. Tillman,
Aye.
and Mr. Beatrice.
Aye.
We have 9 in favor and no one opposed. Been
Thank-
approved.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, if you would, our ordinance on third reading by title only.
An ordinance on third reading by title only, approving additional appropriation in the budget of the GOF non-reverting fund 2508 to fund salaries and wages at the Michigan City Municipal Golf Courses. And this is introduced by Mr. Dabney.
And do the sponsor like to make Councilman Dabney?
Yeah, just repeat what I've said on the first and second reading. Non-reverting funds are basically money that they make through some operations within their own department. And non-reverting fund means at the end of the year that the funds do not go back to the general fund, but they're able to be used and continuing on to be able to do some things like pay wages or whatever it may be out of their non-reverting fund. For example, in the zoo, they could be selling gifts and things out of the gift shop. They collect their own money, which is then able to be used for other needs, repairs or something of that sort. So it's turning it into almost a self-sustaining type of operation where they don't have to continue to come back and ask the council for additional appropriations. Thus, the non-reverting fund, meaning money does not go back to the general fund every year to have to be put into the budget for next year, just continues on. As they make their money, they're able to go ahead and spend that same amount of money.
Thank you, Councilman Dabney. And this ordinance is now open for public comments. Are there any public comments on this ordinance? Any public comments on this ordinance? Are there any public comments on this ordinance? Do we have any online? There are none. Public comments are now closed. Comments from the council? Councilman Dabney.
Motion to approve.
Support.
Madam Clerk, on the vote, please.
Who was the second?
Councilman Beardsley.
Thank you. Mr. Dabney,
Aye.
Dr. Cora,
Aye.
Ms. Lee. Aye. Ms. Moldenauer,
Aye.
Mr. Nelson,
Aye.
Mr. Przybylinski,
Aye.
Ms. Tillman,
Aye.
Mr. Beatrice,
Aye.
and Mr. Coulter.
Aye.
We have 9 in favor and no one opposed.
Madam Clerk, if you would, our next ordinance on third reading by title only.
An ordinance on third reading by title only, approving additional appropriation in the budget of the rainy day fund to cover unfunded public employees retirement fund per contributions. And this is introduced by Ms. Tillman, Mr. Beatrice, and Mr. Dabney.
And would any of the sponsors like to make any comments on this ordinance? Councilman Dabney?
Yes, just as I read at the last meeting, what this is covering is the amount of dollars that we would have continued to fund for certain employees if they would have still been considered working for the city. So what happened is they were separated where they, with NPERS down at the state of Indiana, said that they were no longer working for the city. Thus, they started to collect retirement while at the same time working for Michigan City. And that has created the issue where it was discovered that if we would have been continuing to still pay into the fund, is that they would have been working, considered still working with us. That's why we have to pay the $400,000 to cover that amount that we would have been funding. So I talked about this. Somebody asked, is it a city issue? It's on to NPERS now. They're the ones that are settling that. We just notified of the amount of or the individuals or whatever who fell into this category. NPERS is now taking it over. It is no longer in the city to do anything in terms of trying to collect funds or do whatever it may be. We were just notified that we have to continue to pay the money as if we would have been funding those retirements for those workers. So that is what we're looking at tonight in the amount of $400,000.
If there's nothing else from the sponsors, I would like to open this up for public comments on this ordinance. Are there any public comments? I don't know what that means. Stop it.
Paul Przybylski, 1716 Washington Street. I would like to say that I was kind of a little upset. I did catch the last council meeting and an article in the newspaper that somebody made the decision that it was okay for those employees, so everybody knows in the public. Somebody downstate made the decision for the employees to get that money. Someone was either not notified in the office of controller and subsequently didn't ask if they should pay into the account for these employees still working. Because that is what usually happens. And I'll tell you, I'm collecting a pension from my prior employer, but they're still paying into the pension because you get eligible to draw. So they said that these people were eligible. What I would like to know, who started the inquiry on this situation? That's what I'd like to know. Because it's really, if you think about it, the controller's office should have been paying that money. So from the very beginning, somebody was wrong. But then I want to remind you that under the administration, the prior administration, that we had 1 year that we were in deficit funding. And then the first year of this administration, we're in deficit funding. So what is going on in that office? Thank you. Thank you.
Are there any other public comments on this ordinance? Do we have anyone online for public comments? We do not. Public comments are now closed. Any comments from the council? Councilman Przybylski?
Yeah, motion to approve.
Support.
Madam Clerk on the vote, please.
Dr. Cora?
Aye.
Ms. Lee?
Aye.
Ms. Moldenauer?
Aye.
Mr. Nelson?
Aye.
Mr. Przybylski?
Aye.
Ms. Tillman?
Aye.
Mr. Beatry?
Aye.
Mr. Alter?
Aye.
And Mr. Dabney?
Aye.
We have 9 in favor and no one opposed.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, do we have any new business?
Mayor Angie is requesting the advice and consent of the members of the Michigan City Common Council regarding her new appointment of Ken Purz to the Michigan City Historic Preservation Commission. His term will begin immediately and expire in 3/31 of 27.
Thank you. Councilman Beatrice?
I've usually approved any and all of the mayor's appointments whenever they're given to us. However, in the past, there have been opportunities when the city has reached out to various people in the community to partner on important projects. For example, Art Space. We were occasionally ignored or even stonewalled, and I've explained my objection to this recommendation to the mayor, and I've shared my position with Mr. Purz. I can't, in good conscience, approve consent on this appointment because I don't think it's in the best interest of the city.
Okay. We have Mr. Purz here. Would you like to give us your name and a little bit about what it is, what you would bring to this board?
Sure. My name is Ken Purz. I've been a stakeholder in the Elston Grove Historic District since 1988. And since then, I've continued to be a stakeholder, not only with that property, but numerous other properties. I've been watching with great interest the business of the Historic Preservation Commission. And I believe that with my background, my experience, my knowledge, my willingness to serve the city, that I could add something to that board. I believe that we want to try to encourage all of the inventory in the historic district to be preserved and improved on. And we have quite a mixture of stakeholders there. And I believe that I can represent those stakeholders well, everybody's interest. I have more than 20 years experience in working on boards and commissions. I worked for LaPorte County, served on the LaPorte County Drainage Board while Dr. Cora was a commissioner, as well as 5 other administrations. I served as vice chairman. I served as chairman. I also served on regional boards, the Kankakee River Basin Commission specifically, and some other joint county boards. So I have familiarity with building consensus and working with stakeholders and developing, really productive activities amongst issues that are brought before boards. And that's the reason that I raised my hand after being frustrated, as opposed to sitting in the back row at a meeting and coming up and speaking during public comments. I said, I think I can lend something to the board. I noticed that there was a few members that were appointed that were not showing up to meetings regularly. I wrote a letter to the mayor, an email, and said I'd be willing to serve if there was space available. And the mayor said that there's about 1 year, a little less than 1 year of a term remaining. And she agreed to nominate me. And I've spoken to most of you. And I'm available if you have any questions that you'd like to ask me now.
Are there any questions or comments from the council for Mr. Purz? If there are none, may I entertain a motion for the advice and consent of this member to the Michigan City, Councilman Dabney?
Yeah, I had a comment. Usually advice and consent, I've been doing this now 10 years on the council, advice and consent usually goes through without anyone on council making an objection like Mr. Beatrice has done. And I don't know what his objection is, and I would like to hear that. So if, I would, like, I don't know if we could table this, hold it till the next meeting, whatever, but I want to know the information that he knows. It's like taking a vote on something that you don't have all of the information. And, I spoke to you on the telephone. Obviously, there's something that he knows that I don't know. So
I don't have a problem to address it right here in an open forum. You talked earlier in this meeting about transparency.
I like, your enthusiasm, but I prefer not to be cut off because I don't
I'm sorry.
cut anybody off when they're talking.
I apologize.
It's okay. It's not a problem. We're going to get past it, but I'm just saying I would like to hear, the concerns of Mr. Beatrice. And I don't, I'm not asking you to air anything out here at all. But I'm just saying I would like to hear what he has to say, more than likely in private. When I come back and address this at a later date. If the rest of the council doesn't feel that way, we can go ahead and make the vote. So I'm only one man, but I'm just saying I would like to know what he has to say.
Madam Chair, may I make a comment?
Well, not at this time.
No problem.
So what I would do is pull my request to entertain a motion and to see if I would like to entertain if any council member would like to table this until the next council meeting for any conversations that needs to be had before moving forward.
I'd make a motion to table.
Second. Madam Clerk, on the vote, please.
Ms. Lee,
This is being
Tabled. So
this
next,
one meeting?
yes.
Table to the next meeting. I'm sorry about that. And make that proper motion.
Aye.
Ms. Molnar,
Aye.
Mr. Nelson,
Aye.
Could you please turn your camera on, sir? Oh, that's what he did the second.
go ahead.
Councilman Nelson, could you please turn your camera on? Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Nelson? I saw your face.
Aye.
Mr. Prespolinski,
Nay.
Ms. Tillman,
Aye.
Mr. Beatrice,
Aye.
Mr. Coulter,
Name.
Mr. Dabney,
Aye.
and Dr. Porth.
Aye.
We have 7 in favor and 2 opposed.
So this matter of new business will be carried over to unfinished business for the next council meeting. Thank you, sir. Madam Clerk, if you would, our unfinished business.
We have nominations this evening. The council has one appointment to the Sustainability Commission due to Julie Smith's resignation on April 18, 2026. The term will begin immediately and expire on 5/1 of 2027.
And nominations are now open.
Madam President,
Councilman Prespolinski.
I nominate Cheryl Krasinski.
Are there any other nominations from the council?
Do we need a second on a nomination or no? Okay, I nominate Dale Batts.
Are there any other nomination? I nominate Shauna Hill. Are there any other nominations from the council? If there are no more other nominations, nominations are now closed. And vote will carry over to our next council meeting. Comments from the public are now open. I ask if you will please come up to the mic to state your name, your address, and you have 3 minutes, please.
Hi, this is Tommy Kolovic from 1316 Ohio Street. I'd like to kind of piggyback on Clarence Hulse's report that he gave a couple of meetings ago for the Michigan City Economic Development. There's a lot of businesses open in Michigan City, an unbelievable amount. And there's a lot that he did not mention in his report. I'd like to mention a few of them. You got the 7 Brew Coffee that's going to be under the former KFC spot out there on South Franklin Street. You got the Crew Car Wash going to the former Red Lobster spot on South Franklin. There's going to be a new used car dealership. It's going to be all online now. It's kind of like an easy and hassle-free way to buy a car. It's going to the Craft Auction Warehouse on West US 20. The Ivy Tech, though, has been demolished, and they're going to build a new campus. That was really outdated. Time for it to go. This one I'm really excited. Tootie's Chicken and Fish Bar and Restaurant will be going to the former Sand Trap Creek site location on Michigan Boulevard. We're going to get that southeast corridor of the boulevard rocking again. There's going to be Grandma's Attic self-storage units are being built at US 20 and 35 and Highway 212. Arnett Construction is building their new headquarters at US 20 and Ohio Street. This is monumental. This is the first commercial development going on the west side in 40 years. Dune's Coffee Shop is going to be built at US 12 and Willard Avenue on the west side. Two people we're very familiar with. Their daughter and son-in-law is going to be as Judge Michael Bergerson and Mayor Sheila Brilson. It's their daughter and son, Mr. and Mrs. Bob Warner. They're going to be the owners. Really exciting stuff. Centura Bank is going to be building a new office branch right across the street here at 4th and Pine. They're remodeling the old Fifth Third Bank. It's going to be a new Centura Bank. The Jimmy John's location is going to be going into the Eastgate Plaza at Michigan Boulevard and Carroll Avenue. It's going to that. They're remodeling that building that can't sustain business. There's going to be a Jimmy John's going in there. The new Hyundai dealership is going to be built at the US 20 at the former RV dealership. Years ago, that was Milt DeBeja's Oldsmobile. I'm sure a lot of the old timers remember that. There's going to be the Fuji Apple Buffet going into the former GF's location on South Franklin Street. That's going to be Asian food. And the Red Apple Buffet is going in right next to that. That's going to be like Polish and European food. There's going to be two buffets going in. Recently opened businesses on South Franklin Street include Chick-fil-A, Qdoba Mexican Eats, LV Mail Salon, and Next Venue Customer Care Service. Yesterday at the Board of Works meeting, Mr. Ron Lantroop from Sice Heaven over there, he said he's going to open up a second location there at St. Stan's Church. I think that Mr. Lantroop is really cool. I really admire his. He just operates that out of a little portable stewardship. There was also a lady I talked to. She's got like a real fun place for kids to go. It's going to be called the Break Room. It's going to be in Evergreen Plaza. I know Dr. Vigor is familiar with that. It's going to be a really cool place. It's going to be called the Break, going to the old Hooks location. I think the Little Caesars used to be there. So, and I just want to remind everybody, Memorial Day weekend, go out and enjoy the Michigan City Food Truck Music Fest there at the Guy Foreman Amphitheater. And every Saturday through the end of October, go out and patronize and support the Michigan City Farm and Forage Farmers Market. Just keep up the good work, and I appreciate y'all being council members and our clerks and our attorneys and everybody with the city and all they do. Thanks.
Thank you.
Watching.
Good evening, Council.
Good evening.
Tamiko Smith, 115 Logan Street, Michigan City. For those who don't know, I am the newly appointed controller for the city. New as of April 2026. I've been with the city for 11 years. And cut me off when I get to my 3 minutes, but I'm going to get there. I left this evening from work at about 10 minutes to 7 after gracing the council, after the finance meeting was canceled, trying to gauge if the council may have any questions, because unfortunately 2 years ago, my family had a huge loss, and it's a day we tend to mourn. And I think I said that to Councilman Molnauer when I was here. However, I was home and I heard, because I'm listening and working always, the discussions regarding the $400,000 appropriation that's needed. And somehow it's being implied that the controller's office somehow failed. Anyone, and I'm sure there are many in the viewing public, listening public, sitting on this council as well, who have retired and know what the process is. I think the question was, how did this happen? Or how was this discovered or whatever? So I think a few years ago, we had a new administration come in, and that administration brought in new workers. And one of those workers happened to be a highly qualified human resource director. So lo and behold, a year and a half into her position, an employee retires. And so she follows the process that is followed when employees retire. And one of those things is you go into the PERF system and you tell PERF, hey, this employee is no longer with us. Their last day of service was this. Their last paycheck was this day. You go from a PERF covered position to a non-covered position. That's the city's responsibility. But only until that employee reaches out to PERF and says, hey, I'm retired. Can I get my retirement money? Does anything occur? And that's between the employee and PERF. So we had an employee retire in January, and our new HR director went into the PERF system to retire this employee, only to find out this employee had already been retired, according to PERF, since 2023. So what do? He's been working ever since I've been here, and I just got here in 25, thinks the director. But according to PERF, he's retired. So she follows protocol to address the situation, and then asked to conduct an audit to determine, are there any other employees currently employed but listed in the PERF system as a non-covered position, or has been terminated in the system, or has submitted paperwork to request their own retirement. So I think the blame should go where it really lays, and you can kind of determine for yourself where that is. But once the error was discovered, I, as a controller, am not going to find something being done wrong and continue to do it wrong. That's not what you do. When you come in, you're supposed to leave it better than the way you found it. And that's my goal. So my message to this council and to the public going forward, if we're talking about transparency, it does exist in the controller's office. It always has. And the controller's office did not violate anything. There were some violations, and there were some lies told, and there were some things done, but it was not by the controller's office. So that's why the city needs to request $400,000, because when you tell PERF you're retired, but you continue to work, the city is still responsible for their contributions to your retirement, even though you claim you're not working. And so once the audit is done, and we got employees from 2021 to now, 8 employees in a specific period of time have all done this. Nobody, even if by the grace of God, the city made this mistake, right? The employee has to initiate. Let's be clear. So this request was made to make the city whole, because that's our responsibility. Period. That's as transparent as I can be. And thank you.
Thank you.
Ernie Hollahan, 302 Gladys Street. This has been one interesting meeting I've ever attended. It's got me really in shock. I don't understand. For one, I can't understand why the president puts that in and wants it taken out, but no one backed her up, and the public is against it. Oh, I think it should be just dropped and let go, not continued on. Our comments and the comments that she receives are important to the public as well. So I really think that, and I was at the Board of Works meeting last night, and I did express to them, as well as I express every time I get up here, they need more jobs in Michigan City. You can say what you want to say, Mr. Beatry, but I know there's no work in this town. They rely on tourism. So many places, big places, Joe Sam. It downsized a little bitty plant. Well, McLean is completely gone, except for the casting
And then they tried to ship that out to China and it didn't work, so they brought it back. That's the only reason some people are working there now, because they had to keep the foundry going there. I've known a lot of people that retired from there. You got a mall where Pullman Standards sit, one of the biggest employees in town. I'm sorry, but we have lost a lot of business in this town. You got buildings sitting empty. Bring some industry back and put them in them buildings. Don't just sit there and be a councilman. Do it.
Good evening, Council. My name is Christopher Zabutis, self-proclaimed Big City Chicken. I live at 161 Concord. I represent the firefighters, Local 475. First, I want to acknowledge families affected by the recent tragedies in the city. I'm a father of a 14-year-old myself. I can't imagine what they're going through, and we want to let them know that Michigan City firefighters stand with you. But the main reason I'm here tonight is let the public know that as I stand before you today, Michigan City firefighters still do not have a new contract. Let's be very clear why. It's not because the firefighters refused to negotiate. It's not because we didn't show up. It's not because we demanded outrageous raises. It's because the city has chosen delay, dysfunction, and disrespect. For 18 years, our department operated under a light duty policy with no controversy, no problems. Then this past August, after a pregnant firefighter began asking questions about her rights under the Pregnant Workers Fairness Act, the city eliminated this policy. The mayor eliminated this policy. We were told it wasn't approved by the Board of Works. It's fine. So firefighters did exactly what we do. We worked to fix the problem. In October, myself and other members of Local 475 sat down with the mayor and proposed light duty language. The language was reviewed, adjusted, agreed to, and reviewed by the city labor team and attorneys. But after months of delays in the negotiation process, we were told, we'll deal with it with next negotiations. Then after bringing in a federal mediator to hopefully come to a resolution, the city changes the rules again, adds even more barriers, making it more difficult to access. It's not a negotiation, it's not good faith. That's stringing firefighters along while hoping we eventually give up. Meanwhile, I currently have a member recovering from multiple surgeries who is at risk of exhausting her sick time, losing her paycheck because the city still refuses to resolve an issue that should have been settled months ago. So how long are we expected to wait? How many times are we expected to negotiate, compromise, and come before this city council only to be told, meh, not yet, next year? Because at some point it stops looking like laziness and incompetence and starts looking like an active decision to punish the firefighters. It's backtracking, disrespect. The firefighters of the city are done pretending otherwise. And I said this before, but despite all this, you call 911, we don't delay patient care. We don't make excuses. We don't say, we'll deal with this fire during the next negotiations. I'll do that CPR some other time. We show up. Every call, every shift, every time. Every single time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Council. My name is Brian Bentley. I live at 702 East Cool Spring Ave, and I'm a proud member of Firefighters Local 475. Firefighting is a profession that comes with inherent risk. We understood that when we took the oath to protect this city. But when firefighters are not operating at 100%, it does not only risk the firefighter's health.
Can you get a little bit more?
Yes. It doesn't just risk firefighter health, but it puts the citizens we swore to protect at risk as well. This is why light duty for firefighters recovering from an off-the-job injury or illness is not unusual, extreme, or unreasonable. We're asking for a benefit that this department had for 18 years, and one that is common practice in fire departments across Indiana and throughout the country. In fact, just this month, in the city of Fort Wayne, an arbitrator sided with Fort Wayne Firefighters Local 124 and determined that 12 months of sick leave for an off-the-job injury or illness was an acceptable benefit after the city attempted to reduce it. With that being said, I'd like to briefly show the city of Michigan that Michigan City firefighters are not asking for something outrageous. We're asking for protections and benefits that already exist in departments across the country and the state. For example, our neighbors from LaPorte have 6 months of sick leave that can be extended up to 12 months and 6 months of light duty. Valparaiso has 6 months of sick leave. Light duty continues until the firefighter is ready to perform the regular duties. South Bend, up to 6 months, can be extended in 3-month increments up to a year. Portage, 60 days that can be extended in 30-day increments. Lafayette starts at 60 days, can be extended in 30-day increments, up to 6 months of paid sick leave, and can be extended with the approval of the Board of Works. Muncie Fire, 6 months of sick leave that can be extended up to 12 months. Hobart, 60 days that can be extended in 30-day increments. Kokomo, 6 months of paid leave. Terre Haute, 6 months paid leave, 6 months of light duty after the leave. Indianapolis, 90 days that can be extended in 30-day increments. And Jeffersonville, 60 days that can be extended in 30-day increments. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Council President, council members, thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak to you guys tonight. My name is Jenna Tapasevich. I live at 131 Top Flight Road, and I'm also a proud member of the Firefighters Union Local 475. I'm here not only as a firefighter, as well as the city's first female captain, but as someone who's currently experiencing firsthand the gap in our department's policies, a gap that affects our staffing, our budget, and the long-term health of the men and women who serve this city. We all know this job asks more of us than most people will ever understand. We run into danger and we carry the weight of this community's worst days, and we do so without hesitation. But there's another truth we don't talk about enough. We're human. And at some point, every one of us faces an injury, a surgery, or setbacks to take us off the rig. And right now, I'm living that reality. Like every firefighter, I understood this job comes with risks. Injuries and illnesses happen on and off the job. We accept that when we take this profession. But what I didn't expect was that after nearly 18 years of having the ability to have light duty, this city would take it away. In the last month, I've undergone 2 different surgeries, not because I wanted to, but because I'm trying to take care of my own health and well-being, and I didn't have the ability to take 2 different chunks of time off the job. And as someone who's looking down the barrel of a possible knee replacement in the future, I'm out of options otherwise. Sick days run out. Without light duty, firefighters who are injured like myself are left only 2 choices. We burn through all of our sick time, and then we go into unpaid leave, or we continue to come to work injured and operate below capacity. Oftentimes we feel pressured to return to full duty before we're physically ready. Not because we want to, but because we don't want to drain our sick days, fall behind financially, or leave our crews short-staffed. This could mean responding to emergencies while we're not fully mobile, not fully strong, not fully recovered, and that puts everyone at risk. A light duty policy removes that pressure, and it allows injured firefighters to heal properly while still contributing to the department in a safe, productive way. It protects us, it protects the team, and it protects the city from the consequences of having somebody on the fireground who's simply not physically ready to be there. I'm not here to talk about my situation for the sympathy. I'm here because I'm experiencing a situation that has a simple fix. Not as a favor, not as a privilege, but as a basic respect for those of us who look out for the people of this city. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other public comments at this time?
Good evening, Council. My name is Taylor Scott, and I'm a resident of 717 Franklin Street, and I'm an active member of several organizations throughout the city. I wanted to start by acknowledging what a genuinely exciting time of year it is for our community. This is when the city really starts to bloom with our beautiful lakefront fun activities and events like the Food Truck Festival this weekend, projects like the new playground at Feathers Alley, and group initiatives like the Michigan City's Main Street recently launched a plant grant that helps businesses cover costs for the flower planters to help beautify our district. These are exactly the kind of things that makes me proud to call this city home, and I want to make sure we protect the momentum of these efforts represent. Which brings me to the reason why I'm standing here tonight. The Uptown Arts District is facing an ongoing and increasingly visible issue: the growing amounts of litter on our main street, including open alcohol containers and human waste. I want to be clear that I'm not here to blame. I know this is not a new problem for the city, and I know that Mayor Angie has been working diligently to find resources and solutions, and I genuinely appreciate those efforts. What I do want to make sure is that the council continues to keep its fingers on the pulse, because the situation is escalating. In less than 2 weeks, I personally witnessed 5 separate incidences of human waste by one individual. The most recent occurrence happened this very afternoon, and as of this evening, that individual is still present at the 7th Street Plaza. I called the police on this individual on Saturday, May 9th, and they were arrested, but back on the streets Monday. On the evening of Thursday, May 14th, I witnessed an offense take place while I was simply walking back home after dinner at one of our district's businesses. The very next day, I watched the same individual being approached by an officer for the same behavior, caught in the act again. Knowing what I know now about that afternoon of Friday, May 15th, I reflect back on when I was speaking with that responding officer and cannot imagine what that officer was carrying internally, not knowing if his fellow brothers and sisters were in a serious and dangerous situation, but also the devastating specifics of that situation. And he had to stand there on our main street dealing with a repeat offender that the police and business owners know personally by first name. And he did so with the utmost professionalism and care. We need to continue working at setting our police officers and first responders up for success so they can feel like they can properly do their jobs and that their actions won't be in vain simply because certain individuals or offenses will not be properly prosecuted. If we're being honest, there are already laws that exist for these types of crimes, and what I'm asking the council to consider is whether all of the pieces surrounding the enforcement and accountability are working together the way they should. A few areas I would encourage we look at is the prosecution and accountability. Are individuals being properly charged and prosecuted when these laws are broken, especially repeat offenders?
Ma'am, I'm sorry, but your time has run.
Okay.
Your 3 minutes, but I greatly appreciate it. But if you would, again, for that communication that you have, if you would like to transfer that to the clerk's office for the remainder of that, for the council to see that as well.
I would happily do so. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. Do we have any other public comments? Yes, sir.
Hi, John Carrington again, 140 Esther Street. I just wanted to, I don't know if it was covered possibly at the beginning of the meeting, I was about 5 minutes late, but at the last city council meeting, it was asserted that it was okay to have the meeting because it wasn't a federal holiday or something, and Robert's Rules was cited. And then it was also later in the meeting said that the resolution to eliminate communications was justified. The way I heard it, and the way I heard it on the recording, because I listened to it afterwards, was that it can be unilaterally decided to change the agenda according to Robert's Rules and the Michigan City Municode. And I couldn't find that anywhere. And so I think when we quote Robert's Rules and the Municode, we really need to be certain that we are actually quoting it, because that kind of caused a flurry on the internet, let me tell you. Also, when people send you correspondence that is defamatory or threatening or unflattering or anything like that, if I was on the council and somebody sent me an email threatening me or defaming me, I would want it on the public record. I would want it publicized. I would want to refer it to you, or something for possible action. And if somebody's unjustly accusing me of something, the public needs to know. If somebody is justly accusing me of something, then trying to get it off the public record is a horrible conflict of interest and counterproductive to transparency and open communication. So that's my opinions on that. Thanks.
Dominic Yankee, 904 Willow Spring Drive. At the last council meeting, an assertion was made that publishing the council agenda with 48 hours notice would technically be Sunday. That does not match the requirements of the Indiana Open Door Law, as it states that the 48-hour notice does not include Saturdays, Sundays, or legal holidays. I sent an email on the matter, but have not yet received a response. Hopefully, it will be addressed during council comment. Also, at the last council meeting, a councilwoman criticized the city clerk for releasing the city council agenda without her permission. The city clerk answers to Indiana law, not the council president. The clerk publishes the agenda to comply with the Indiana Open Door Law. I don't believe it was right to criticize Gail for doing her job, and it was worse that it was done when she wasn't present to defend herself. Additionally, the last city council meeting should not have occurred on an election day, according to city ordinance, as brought up by Carly Dunn and I think John Carrington before me. I would also like to thank Councilman Presbowinski and everyone else who spoke against the proposed change to the council agenda. Also, I would like to say that I appreciate how Comptroller Tomiko asked to be treated the same as the rest of us and be given only 3 minutes to speak. However, I believe she was given more than 3 minutes to speak. It is good that the city is trying to fix their mistake and pay their share, but City Council needs to work with these 8 longtime city employees to ensure that they are made whole too. As a registered nurse, I want to state how important it is for our fire department to have the ability to take light duty when needed. Workplace injuries are common to many professions, and firefighters have a physically demanding job where they put their health and physical safety on the line. Returning to full duty with existing injuries can risk permanent damage and disfigurement. Please do everything in your power to protect those who keep us safe. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Tom Donnigan, 205 East 11th Street. Every year I have friends and family to come and visit me for the Patriot Parade and the boat races. We usually have a lot of fun, but guess what? This year they're not coming. They're worried about all the shooting happening in Michigan City and they don't want to get shot. I told them it's not going to happen, but they asked if I could be sure. I told them I can't be sure. They heard about 2 more recent shootings, one a murder, a few blocks from my house. There were 4 near my house last year, including a murder, but they came for the parade and the boat races anyway. This year, they're not coming. This year, they're not bringing the hundreds of dollars they usually spend on hotels, dining, and going out over the course of the weekend. If they're not coming because they don't feel safe, how many other people aren't going to come to Michigan City this summer because they feel it's unsafe? Tourism is a golden goose for Michigan City, and the goose is going to stop laying golden eggs if you, as city leaders, don't perform your number one function as elected officials, public safety. The 9 of you were elected to represent residents of town. You asked to be here. For the past few years, you've let us down. Homeless, panhandling vagrants have taken over. This lady just told you about the guy that's pooping up and down Franklin Street. Franklin and Detroit is an open-air drug market for addicts that hang out there. Trash is worse than ever. That came up again tonight. And shooting and murders are getting more numerous. Last year, after the murder that happened near Mady's while the boat races were in town, there was a community conversation on gun violence. Another one of those things where a task force is formed, and committees are set up to create an action agenda, to form a strategic planning project, to work on the issue. In other words, say things that sound important and then do nothing. Just like the press release the mayor's handler put out yesterday. Talking about doing something and actually doing something are very different things. I was up here last October after there were 11 shootings last year telling you the same things. What's changed? We're up to 7 this year. As I've said to you before, if you don't know how to fix the problem, Get in touch with your colleagues in places that don't have this problem. Find out what they do and implement it here. There's a lot of places in Indiana and all over the region where shootings are not becoming commonplace. Those places have law and order, which means the police are aggressively enforcing laws and the courts are handing out meaningful sentences, all with the backing of city leaders. Of course, there's lots of places where shootings happen a lot. In those places, there's lax law enforcement and city leaders who condone that. Where does Michigan City fall on that spectrum? There's one common factor for both of those things: city leaders. They either put up with the shootings or they don't. Which are you? I have to say this again too. Michigan City is at a tipping point. You and the mayor can let the shootings and all the other crap that's going on continue, or you can put a stop to it now. If you can't do that, or you don't want to do that, the answer is simple. Step down.
Thank you. Is there anyone else?
Paul Przybylski, 1716 Washington Street. I agree with the comments that were made earlier about our clerk and the 48-hour rule. That's true, that she has a job to do and get the agenda out. But I made some statements earlier, and I will not back away from them. They're all true, that the controller's office overestimated our revenue on 2 different occasions. That's a fact. That happened. Council members should know that we're on the council at that time. Pitiful. So, what I would like to say actually is that I went to a meeting with Councilman Don Przybylski and Mr. Bila. That's at that meeting, he was supposed to have a platform to speak. The sanitary board did not let him speak. I was there, and the sanitary board talked about this in like almost 2 hours on this grandiose rate increase. And then they got into talking about the Lafayette Barker Sewer Project. And I asked a simple question, because I've been following this for years, on the individual that was talking about it. I don't know what his technical term is, all right. Is they did all this work, $8 million tunnel to nowhere. They did 2 different studies. The outflow, now this is very important. The outflow was never approved by IDEM or anybody at the state level, and I brought that up at that meeting, and the conversation kind of went away. But something can be done. The other point I want to make is that when you abstain from something, you have to identify the abstention when you're abstaining. Thank you very much.
And you did. Yes, sir. Is there anyone else?
Yes. My name's Anthony Suda. I live at 4521 North Ruckman Trail. I was listening tonight, took some notes about the overall theme of this meeting, and I feel like it needs to be spoken about with communication in this community. The council began speaking about the violence that we've been experiencing recently in this community. I am absolutely devastated by what's been happening. Our community members are speaking loud and clear. We need action, we need transparency, and we need reverse communication. If we're sending in communication to our council members, to our mayor, to our community leaders, we need responses. We don't have to have an immediate response, but we need to be acknowledged that that communication has been received. I've lived here my entire life. Over the last 2 decades, I have sent communications in to city officials and have never received a proper response, ever. And it is honestly disappointing. We need to do something about it. We need to get together and figure this out. It is terrible that we're taking these violent situations and saying, our doors are open. Please communicate with us. Where is the return communication? It's not happening. It needs to happen. Everybody in this community is speaking out. I run Michigan City Uncensoredish. It has 43,000 members. Of course, not everybody from this community, but a vast majority of those members are from this community, and they're all saying the same thing. We need communication. We need transparency. We don't have to know all the answers, but we need to know that we're acknowledged. These things are happening and something is going to be done. Because I listened tonight, we got reach out to the council for any resources needed. You claim to be available. Chief Forker made his statement, which is great. We got a little bit of information on this investigation. Arrest has been made. It's ongoing. Of course it is. It's going to be a lot of information. So the communication from what I'm hearing from our community leaders is to reach out over, I would say, let's see, I heard gives impression. So there's a lot of impression that I've been given over these last few years and currently over the past few years that we are being ignored. It needs to change. Transparency is spoken a lot tonight and it's not happening. It's not happening. No matter how much we're going to say it, we need it to improve it. And then one thing I would like to touch on, the comment was made about the discourse and receiving the emails. I'm sorry, I'm going over a little bit here. But
I am sorry, but I am going to have to have you.
Discourse. We can't turn away discourse.
Sir, your time has allotted. Thank you. I appreciate it. Are there any other? Yes, sir. Go. Mm-hmm. Oh, no one's there.
Good evening, Dakota Euler, 718 Emma Street
Good
in
evening.
Michigan City. Council, I'm going to steal it a little bit from Councilman Prespolinski because I know he'll probably hit on it later. But this coming up Monday, Memorial Day, there's always a parade that goes down Decatur Street and goes to Greenwood Cemetery. This is a holiday that honors all the veteran organizations in our community and honors those veterans that died in service to our country. I encourage all members of the public to make themselves available for that parade. Again, it goes down Decatur Street to Greenwood Cemetery at 10 a.m. And hope to see everyone there. Thank you.
Are there any other public comments? Do we have anyone online?
Earlier, when I made the announcement about the Hands Against Gun Violence, I forgot to give out my phone number. If anybody wants to help or just show up, my number's 219-229-3017. And again, it's Sunday, June 14th from 1 to 3 upstairs at City Hall. Thank you.
Thank you. And do we have anyone online for public comments? We do not. Public comments are now closed. Comments from the council? Are there any comments from the council? If there are no comments from the council, Councilman Prespolinski?
Yep. Thank you, Madam President. And Dakota, you're right. You did steal my thunder about Memorial Day. But the other special thing about Memorial Day, in honor of both the United States and all the veterans that have passed away fighting in the wars, fly your flag. If you don't have a flag, go out and buy a flag. Hang it on your. Be proud to hang it on your porch. I have a flag, and I try to fly it every day. That's one thing. The second thing that I'd like to talk about is I had heard that I had heard on the radio this morning that I guess the school system, the police department, and the city administration had a meeting on what the steps are going forward to combat the violence that's taken place. What I would like to have as a city councilman is some type of report that we could get so the city council knows what's happening with the school system and the administration and the police department, so we can talk to our constituents that are asking me questions daily on what is happening here and what is being done. So if some force from the council president to whoever the parties were involved in that meeting and have a report sent back, I'd greatly appreciate that. The other thing that I'd like to discuss is 2 meetings ago, I had mentioned that I was going to call IDEM and get a report on the soil sample that Phoenix sent down to IDEM. And myself and Attorney Harris had a phone conference with the attorney from IDEM, maybe in that particular section, the soil section. Anyway, there is amounts of, I want to make sure I got the chemical right. Let's see, where's that at? There it is. It's on page 2. Trichloride ethylene is what's in the soil. And IDEM had got the sample about a month ago, and there are traces of that chemical that are in there. There are certain traces in different samples. So they did say that every 10th load that is going to be taken out of the berm, okay, whatever that means at the site, is going to be tested and sent to IDEM so they can test that soil to see where it's at. Overall, the soil that's there, that it can be shipped to a landfill. It doesn't have to be a special waste or a hazardous waste landfill, but it can be sent to a landfill and disposed of. And all the soil that may be sitting at different sites that are in a holding pattern, those soils also will be able to be sent to a solid waste landfill. And if anyone needs any more information, and I can give it to you or text it to you, the gentleman's name is Jeff Workman. Jeff Workman, Workman, and he is the gentleman working on the data center issues up here in Michigan City. And so it's Jeff Workman at idem.in.gov. And he said, email him. The attorney said that, he'll get the emails, he'll answer back. And I don't know how to navigate to get to it, but they have some kind of, and correct me if I'm wrong on the terminology, they have.
It's a virtual file cabinet.
Virtual file cabinets. And some of you may be familiar with it, that you can go to. It tells you all the samples, all the sample numbers, good, bad, and if there's a violation or if Phoenix is being penalized for any of this stuff. And as of right now, according to the attorney, they haven't been penalized or any violations have been given to them, give them yet. So I just wanted to get back on that report and let you know that we spoke to them and did our due diligence on that topic. And that is it. Thank you.
Councilman Dabney?
Yes. First, I want to send out our condolences to, the people who were inflicted by the gunshot wounds. The person passed away. No councilman wants to see this happen to anybody, any resident here in the city of Michigan City. And then I ask, or I say, this gun violence, the increase in gun violence, there's a bunch of different places where that comes from. I know that, people come to the council meeting and say, you fix it. All right. But I do know that when we vote for our state elections, there's very low voter turnout when it comes time to those things. But the state has passed these laws where kids now can turn 18 years old, can go and buy a gun without a permit, without a license. So this is something that is not helping us in terms of being able to control guns and gun violence. I mean, anybody with any sense is going to see it. That's going to create the possibility of more people having guns out there in the public. So we ask for help on that side as well. We need that support. We need those things to be done and said. A police officer who's no longer with the police force told me years ago, and I'm just taking his word for it, that when he came onto the force, that's been a while ago. If they were to pull somebody over, they had an unregistered gun. It was almost like an automatic time in prison. Those laws have gone by the wayside. So those things that used to happen in the state now are no longer there to help us, to assist us. And then here in Michigan City, what we're doing here, we're putting things out and they're reactionary. I mean, we have just now getting up to full complement of police here in town. That'd be 84. But then again, the police can't be everywhere for everybody at all times. We have to understand that. Everybody has to understand that they simply can't be everywhere. I've been standing there 10 feet away from a guy when he got shot at the old Duke of Oil when I was a teenager. I've seen gun violence. I had a gun put up to my head, into my mouth. Guy threatened to shoot me when I ran midnight basketball back in the day. As he stole my mom's car, I went to, ask him where he got the car. He pulled out a gun, put it in my face, put it in my mouth, so forth. I was laying on my bed the day we were supposed to have a meeting over here at New Hope Missionary Baptist Church, talk about gun violence. This is when Chief Dion Campbell was around. I'm laying on my bed taking a nap before I could go over to the meeting. There's a gun fight out in the intersection right outside my house. Guns come in the wall of my house, miss me by about 10 feet. So nobody wants gun violence. And then people say, well, what are you going to do about it? There's also things that happen at home. As a matter of fact, I'll give an example. Back in 2002, I was offered a job to move to New York, take the job. But I had a nephew who was coming up, needed leadership, some parenting help from a male figure in his family. And I did not take the job. I stayed here to make sure that I kept him busy. I kept him doing things in order to keep his mind off of getting into trouble out here in the public. Some of his friends, some of his best friends that were on that same path, they played on the same basketball teams, they were doing the same thing. Some of them went off, and now some of them are in jail. So I'm talking about that requires some parenting. Over the years, coming out of Michigan City area schools, I do know this as well, that over time, there's been a softening of what schools can say and do to children. I know when I was young, if the principal or my mom was called to come to the principal's office for me, my mom stepped into that room and go, what did he do? What did he do? Why are you calling me? What did he do? Now, a lot of times that's turned where they come in and say, well, what did you do to my son? So there are a lot of things that have turned that have allowed for this culture to seep into not only Michigan City. There's other cities all over the country that are dealing with these same types of things. There's some states who have more stringent gun laws. There are countries, none in the world, that deal with the gun violence like we have. And a lot of that is because of lack of help, of passing of stringent gun laws, and that there are more guns in the United States than there are people. That's insanity to me, but I'm sure the Second Amendment right guys will be all over me about saying that. But nobody wants to see anybody be harmed, and to say you don't care and that you don't want to do anything. And I would love to. I'm not going to ask anybody to come back to the microphone and say, "Well, what would you do?" But you ask, "What would you do if you're sitting in this seat? What would you do?" It is an issue. In my 10 years, I've probably been in 6 or 7 meetings talking about gun violence. And every year there's something, every time we've had those talks, there's something new that's thrown into the mix that makes it easier for guns to be, brought into the system of Michigan City. But yet somebody will come to the council meeting and tell us, you fix it. And I think it's going to take effort by more than the city council, more than the parents, it's going to have to be everybody coming together. But I don't hear that. All I hear is you fix it. And this is something that everybody's going to have to take some responsibility for if we want to have a community that's going to be, able to get a grip on some of these different things. And it is a tough one. It is one of the toughest things that, we've had to talk about since I've been on the city council. And it's sad every time it comes up that somebody else in our community has been shot, killed, and so forth. And it does not feel good to see that happen. Like I said, I reflect back to my nephew, who I decided not to take a job in New York to stay here to make sure I raised him on the right path. He's now in Indianapolis, an electrician in the apprenticeship down there, and he's doing the right thing. And I think because he has strong parenting in the household. So, I hear some of the complaints in that, and I understand it. We're one of 9 people who are out here to try to deal with that. And, we can be, it'd be like walking into a bank. The first person you get to talk to is the tellers. And, people yell at the teller when they have a problem with something going on in the loan department. So I'm getting the wrap up here, but I think it's, something that we all need to try to come together and take care of, because to simply say you fix it or that person fix it is not going to work. That's going to have to be a cumulative effort by everybody, and I hope that we can come to that someday. And once again, my condolences to the people who were shot and killed and all that. And thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Moldenhauer.
Thank you, Madam President. Just building on what Councilman Brian Dabney said, my condolences go out to all the families, especially the 2 that lost their children, and the 2 students that are hopefully recovering right now. It's an extremely difficult issue, but I really think Indiana has tied the hands of the people that work in law enforcement. They passed laws that allowed concealed carry without a license. That means anybody in this state can carry a gun anywhere, unless a business has posted outside, or churches sometimes post outside. Guns not allowed in here. And I want to say every single law enforcement agency, from the state police to the county sheriff's departments to the town and city municipal police, begged the lawmakers down in Indianapolis, do not pass this law. You're going to make our jobs absolutely impossible regarding gun control in our communities. So I hope everybody will contact Governor Braun, our elected officials, and take a look. Look up a couple years ago the people that passed all of those laws, and if they're still in office, let them know it's not working here. I also want to report that I have been following up on concerns of my residents of Ward 6 regarding the data center. As I promised, I forwarded at least half a dozen of these issues to Phoenix Development and Google. And I want to give kudos to Broderick Green of Google. He has actually been more responsive than Phoenix Development ever has been since the beginning of this project. And I did say I'd follow up the exploration of asking for a redo regarding what supposedly Michigan City agreed to regarding the data center and the benefits and everything like that. I've been informed it's not possible to do a redo like other communities have been able to do, like LaPorte and Hobart and other places. We started out with land that was already zoned for industry. So that put us in a very bad position from the beginning. And I know you can shake your head about it and think that that's not the case. That land was zoned for industry. It had had factories there for 70 some years. So it was zoned. I've been following along with some of the new ordinances that have been passed by Lake County, and LaPorte County has been working on one. And all of those include, it doesn't matter if it's light industry or heavy industry, the data centers do have the right to go into those spaces. So go ahead, look those up. I've read them very carefully, and it very clearly states the two different kinds of zoning. And that I will conclude with, again, I think it's been a very sad, very heavy time for many of us. People up here on the DS knew some of those students personally, and it hurts that they're no longer amongst us.
Thank you, Councilwoman Moldenauer. Councilwoman Lee.
Thank you, Madam President. I have two things to address tonight. The first, there was mention about public defamation and making that known and talking about that. Recently, I was publicly accused of lying to the public about the data center soil testing. And I'd like to confirm that I did not lie to the public on that, as Councilman Przybylski just spoke about the soil testing. I was given data by the data center to present to the public. I presented that to the public. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. I have absolutely no reason to lie to the public. I would never lie to the public. My integrity as a human, as a teacher, and as a city councilwoman is not up for grabs, especially for a data center. I'm not going to lie about that. If you have questions about things, you are welcome to come talk to me personally. I'm more than happy to talk to you. You can call me. My cell phone is on the public website. I know a lot of we have mutual friends that we can talk through, or you can email me. Any of those things are complete options. I will not lie to the public. I'm not going to compromise my integrity for anybody, especially a random data center. Not going to happen. And then the recent shootings.
Take your time, Daisy.
4 out of 5 of those students that were shot recently, I had in class. Even the most recent one that just died this weekend. We have issues, and we need to fix them. You're not wrong about that. And I think Councilman Dabney alluded to that it takes more than just one body or one group of people or one person. It takes all of us, for sure. I think one group of people that have been left out of this conversation often is the kids. I've had conversations with all of my classes this week and asked them what they think, why this is an issue, how they're feeling about it and what they think that we can do to help fix this. They have some great answers. They have some great ideas. So I'm going to be working with a group of them to implement some of these things over the next couple of months. We need approval from upper admin to go forward with these. But I think we as a community need to include our youth in these conversations more often. So if there's going to be community conversations and community workshops about gun violence, let's make sure that we bring those kids in. Thanks.
Are there any other comments from the council? If there are no other comments from the council, may I entertain a motion to adjourn? Thank you and have a good evening.
Thank you.